Hey, it's Christy and Amanda.
Two girls from Saskatchewan, Canada, living the Reiki life while working the 9 to 5.
Hey everyone, welcome in. This is episode 53, and you are here with Amanda and Christy. And happy July, everyone. So today we have a great guest. Her name is Tara, and we can't wait to dive into what she does. But first, Christy, how are things going? What's going on?
Yeah, just enjoying summer. And, June is such an interesting month. I found it really, really busy, but I closed a lot of chapters that I've been working through with like different areas of my life. Stuff is finishing up, and then I'm going to see things starting up. So it's like endings and beginnings. So it just kind of feels really natural, the halfway point to the year. And the one thing that is ending, taking a pause, is my homeopathy course that I started back in April. So we're taking the summer off, and it's been something like incredible. I can't believe this type of healing modality, and I've already seen it help people because we've been doing case studies and following people along their journey, and then we're learning along with them, which is super fascinating. And it's just so freeing to be able to, if I have a headache or if I have anxiety or like all these different health things that can go on, like with your mind, body, and spirit, I'm learning the tools to help myself. And then as I help myself in turn, I want to help other people. And I just have all these ideas of how I can combine like my Reiki and my Akashic work and my psychic work and my homeopathy, and how that's going to look when I'm all done this course in 3 years. So yeah, everyone stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's just something super exciting and something that just really lights my soul up. So,
that's all going to really tie together nicely.
Yeah.
Really nicely. It's funny how it all fits in. Yeah, I'm really excited for you, and I love hearing how it's going in the journey, because that we need more people doing that.
Yep.
Like there's such a shortage here. I'm sure other places too, maybe, but
yeah, a lot of the ones that have been around for a long time are starting to retire. So you need to usher in some newer people to be able to hold space for all those clients. And because like in Saskatchewan, we're one of the highest places for ordering homeopathy, because there's a lab in Quebec where everyone orders their remedies from. And yeah, we place the most orders out of any province in Canada. So
wow,
yeah,
that's interesting.
But that's because of Hallmark. Have you heard of him?
No.
Yeah, he was a very well-known homeopath, and that's the homeopath that my homeopath learned under. And he unfortunately passed away not that long ago, so it left a lot of people looking for answers and looking for someone to help them. So, yeah.
Great. Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what's new in your world?
Okay, well, I'm still cleansing, Candida cleansing.
Oh, yes.
And that's actually getting easier. That's getting easier, actually.
Good.
I feel like I'm finding staple things like brown rice pasta. There's such a thing. Red lentil pasta. Just things like that, brown rice. Yeah, I'm finding more of a groove with it. So that's good. That's keeping me sane. Things are feeling better, too, in my body, which is the whole reason I'm doing this. And on another note, kind of a sad note, my dog, Sunny, who is a Mastiff Rottweiler. He is 200 pounds, weighs in at 200 pounds. I'm not over-exaggerating here. He's 9 years old, and he's on his way out. And I've been giving him Reiki every night, most nights. And it's going well. But it's a whole different ballgame when you're doing Reiki on a pet. And Christy made a really good point to me. She's like, is he still allowing you to Reiki him? I don't know if anyone else has dealt with dogs who are on their way to transition out, but it's funny. And it was a really good point, because we are wondering when his last day is going to be, because it is right around the corner. And I'm like, yes, he is still allowing me to Reiki him. Like, I don't feel him pushing me out. which I have before. Remember that plant that I tried to Reiki pushed me right out?
Oh,
Yes, the plant did. And
poinsettia.
yeah, it was a poinsettia. So it is good news, but it's very interesting to just beam Reiki at my dog or go up beside him and hover or place my hands on him when he's in that midst of transition. So just getting a lot of practice in with animal Reiki. And I'm sure we'll cover this on the podcast here sooner than later. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to interview someone about animal Reiki, but yeah, back to your point about when they're transitioning. When I went through this experience with my dog Larry, yeah, he didn't want Reiki. He would kind of squirm and like look at me when I placed my hands near him, and I knew he's like, no, I'm done, leave me alone, like kind of thing. And it just like, it broke my heart. So it's like, I want to help you. I can help you like feel better and like just give you some ease in this moment. And he was just like, no. And animals, they're so amazingly powerful, and we don't give them enough credit for how smart they are and the journey that they're here with us on. And they're here for a chapter in your life, not your whole life. And that was something that was really hard for me to accept when I had to say goodbye. But like, it even makes me want to tear up now, and it's been 3 years now. It's just, but I look back at that point in my life and where I was in that point in my life. He was there with me and he helped me through so many different things. And now I look at the dog I have now and I'm in a completely new chapter. So it's so hard to say goodbye, but it's just like, it's the end of a chapter and a new one's coming.
Yeah, I fully believe that too. And it does help that I'm very comfortable with what happens after we die. Mm-hmm. But yes, we'll see. We'll keep sending Sunny so much of my love, and yeah, we'll keep everyone updated on how that goes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in other news, I didn't mean to get us on a down point there, but I did want to share what was kind of going on in my world. Astrology?
Yeah. What's going on in July?
Okay, so July 10th, we have the full moon in Capricorn, also called a buck moon. So Capricorn is an earth sign, very grounded energy, Capricorns, I find. And they are also the devil card in the tarot deck. So this full moon is going to be about time to shed old layers and build structure around your ambition, especially in career and long-term goals. So Capricorn energy supports discipline and responsibility and practical advancement. It's so funny. I do find Capricorn a very organized, very structured energy and sign, and just like having things a certain way. So especially because this is also the devil card too, since it is a full moon, we can kind of release some of those habits and those kind of ways that we used to do things that aren't really serving us. Maybe it's time to pitch them aside or kind of even have a look at it and ditch what's not really serving you anymore. And then on July 24th, we have the new moon in Leo. So Leo is a fire sign. It's also the strength card in tarot. And it's now is a powerful moment for creative expression, confidence, and setting bold intentions. Leo's dramatic, heart-centered vibe is ideal for new passion projects or making your voice heard with flair. Yes, gotta love that spicy Leo energy. And they are really good at kind of being almost like the center of attention, right? And just harnessing the strengths that they do have to get them forward. And like Christy's strength is different than my strengths, but we can utilize those things in a different way and then shine with it. It's a really fun time to like kind of like let that creativity and that full expression flare out. Yeah.
Yeah, lots to look forward to. Nothing, no crazy retrogrades or anything. I haven't really looked, but no, these moons sound okay to me.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't see anything about retrogrades, but I don't usually do that deep of a dive.
Yeah,
but you're still in summer. You're fine.
You're fine. Yeah, and then I guess the Lionsgate is a big deal coming up in August. So yeah, we'll definitely touch on that.
Yes, love the Lionsgate. Mm-hmm. It's such a big day for me.
All right. So should we get into today's episode?
Absolutely.
All right.
So we have Tara on. She is a tattoo artist and Reiki practitioner, and she combines both things. So I saw her page on Instagram and I was like, Christy, we have to interview her. I am so excited about what she's doing, and you will be too. So make sure you follow her on Instagram. We have all of her links in the bio. So make sure you go ahead and follow her at Iron Lion Tattoos. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode. It was really good. So today we have the coolest guest on our show. I found Tara's page on Instagram. She is a tattoo artist who does Reiki and energy work on you, and then designs a tattoo specific for you based on the session. Her tattoos are unreal, and I love the sacred geometry that you bring into a lot of your tattoos and designs. Tara has her own studio, Iron Lion Tattoos. She is a Reiki practitioner, facilitates sound baths, and does oracle card readings. What a trailblazer you are. She has won many awards for her tattoos through the years, and it sounds like you found tattooing before Reiki, but I would love to hear all about the things and how you got started on your journey. So welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all of that. And thank you for having me. Yes, I did start tattooing before Reiki. I started tattooing when I was about 17 years old. So started in the parents' basement, not doing things the right way, like as a lot of us start. And then waited until I was 18 to do my formal apprenticeship, at a studio. So I did start tattooing pretty young. So I've been in the game for a while there.
And you started off doing like charcoal drawings and things like that, and then you got into the apprenticeship part of tattooing in a studio?
Yeah, so I always drew. Like I was always drawing. I was never, as all my tattoos are black and gray, I've never been really into color. Even when I used to do any kind of artwork, it would always just be like pencil, paper, just graphite or charcoal was mainly all I used. And then, yeah, I pretty much knew I wanted to be a tattoo artist when I was about, I'd say like 15. I asked my parents to get a tattoo since I was 12. And then I actually got my first tattoo. It was for my 15th birthday, but the day I got it, I was still 14. And I got a tattoo when I was pretty much 15 years old was the first one. And then after that, I knew it's what I wanted to do. I was asking the artist all kinds of questions. I did end up getting a lot more tattoos after that, which, the first time I went with my mom, and then every time after that, they didn't care because it was like, oh, she brought me the first time. So they just kept tattooing me without her consent really at that point. But so after that, I just knew I would hang out at the tattoo shop. I would ask a bunch of questions, and it went from there.
That's awesome. Like I can really, appreciate the black and white that goes into like a tattoo or any kind of art, because I feel like when you have color, there's lots of different things you can do. But like when you're just working with like those tones, I just feel like it's like so much more. I don't know. I'm really drawn to the black and white, do you call it black and gray or?
Yeah, we call it black and gray, but yeah, it's pretty much black and white. Yeah, even when I was younger, it was always like black and white photography that I was drawn to. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's just how my brain works.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So how did you get into Reiki then? So how did this all come together?
Right. Okay. So from a young age, I did always know that I didn't know what it was, but I was intuitive at a young age. And I kind of always knew I had like some sort of gift. I just didn't know how to tap into it. So after my mom passed away, I kind of went on, a big journey, and I did start, I have a mentor I'm a channel. So I can do like, channeled spirit guide readings. And I it's been years and years and years where I have been, practicing that and honing in on that skill. So that was first was learning that I was a channel and learning how to do that, and discernment and everything, figuring out what are my thoughts and what are the thoughts that are coming from spirit, and how to distinguish that. And then I started getting more into energy work, and I wanted to learn from even more people and learn more things. So then I started taking my Reiki courses and my sound healing courses, and I did sort of a mentorship with someone for oracle cards and the phases of the moon, and kind of dove into all of that head first. It's just how I am. When I'm intrigued, interested, fascinated by something, I go in 100%.
And what kind of Reiki did you end up studying? Was it Usui?
Usui, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a level 2, but I am actually in like a couple weeks getting my master certification.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's good. And you talked about being a channel as well. Did you always know you had those gifts? And like, how does that come in for you when you're channeling? Like, does it kind of come up like in from the crown, or does it come in a certain way for you?
Yeah. So it's interesting being a tattoo artist for all of these years, and you kind of get this certain persona about you, and everyone knows you a certain way. So it was years in the making of doing the intuitive tattoos, years. And I really wanted to hone all my skills and really do all my research and get to a level of feeling comfortable. But it was tough to just kind of jump out I had been practicing this stuff for years, but to put it out there to the world when like I already have a following, I have a following as a tattoo artist. The people in my chair kind of get the vibes from me, but it wasn't like out there on social media that I channel, I do readings, I do Reiki, so that was tough. But I did know from a young age, but I didn't know how to tap into it until I met my mentor. I actually had a reading myself from a woman that it was this crazy reading after my mom passed. And the reading was essentially that I'm a channel, and that like, you need to contact this woman. Like, this is coming up that you need to contact this woman. And there's something there meant to be there where she's going to provide something for you. It's some connection that needs to be made. And I went and I saw that woman, and she basically became my mentor of life pretty much, but my mentor as far as teaching me how to actually channel for people. And when I channel, it's more of just like I say a certain prayer, close my eyes, and it's more of like a knowing, things come in. But it's even better when the person asks, like if the person's asking some questions, stuff, the information comes really easy. But I never really felt comfortable just doing readings for people, like just sitting there doing the prayer. So that's when I started to think, okay, how can I combine this with tattooing? And tattooing is my whole life. How can I combine this with my craft that I do every day, that I've been doing for years and years and years? Like, how can I combine these in order to be able to channel and read for people in a way that felt comfortable for me?
Right. Yeah, I can, when you start to share that side of yourself with people where you're like, I don't know how they're going to receive it. Because I remember even like within like my family and sharing like, I think differently, I feel things differently and all of that. It's scary. But, once you do it, it feels good. And it's like your people will find you at that point, and those people are your people. Like through.
Yes. And that's, yeah. I didn't think it would be the way it is, but it's wild how things turn out just as they're supposed to. And the following that I gained from it, and the people who want this experience are the people that it's meant for,
100%. Yeah.
And you don't just offer the intuitive healing with the tattoo after. You do offer just tattooing as well if people aren't into the reading and the Reiki side. But do you
Yes.
probably find that a lot of people, do they want both?
Yes. So I do regular tattooing, black and gray tattooing. I do that all day, every day. The intuitive experience has become very popular. I have people flying out all the time to get it done for as many as I want to do. It does take a lot out of me, and that is 2 sessions instead of a regular tattoo just being 1 session. So I choose to do however many a week or a month, and I fill every spot. But yes, I do regular tattooing. People are loving the intuitive experience, and then the people who have come for the intuitive experience have become like repeat clients to just get tattooed. So it's become like a really great relationship with those people.
Yeah. I bet, because like getting a tattoo is a very like intimate experience. Like sometimes you're spending anywhere from like 4 to 8 hours or a couple days with like that one person. And what I was thinking about is like somebody is draw or like essentially drawing on you permanently. And it's like to find someone that is aligned with your energy, it would just make that experience so much better. So it's just, yeah, I was thinking about that before we hopped on. That's just, yeah, I just love everything about it.
Yeah, I think, yes, it is a very intimate. I think exactly. I think tattooing is a very intimate experience in general. So combining everything into this experience just, yeah, it makes it just that much more special.
Yeah.
And Tara, you can do Reiki distantly. Could you do the energy portion distantly and design a tattoo from them that way? Or do they have to be in person? Obviously they do for the tattoo part, but
Right. So I can do long distance energy work. I obviously don't believe that, you know, that Reiki and energy work can't work from a distance. I don't believe that. But there's just something about the in-person experience for me. I can do that, but I prefer an in-person experience. I combine I integrate elements from other healing modalities into the session. So I'll do Reiki combined with sound, combined with essential oils, crystals. I sort of integrate a bunch of different things, and I just feel like it's a real in-person experience. I will put sound instruments on the body. Obviously with the Reiki, touch, no touch, but, and then putting crystals on the body. And I just like to see it unfold in person, the energy exchange. But I could do it from afar, but I prefer the in person for sure.
I'm selfishly asking that question. Actually, it's from my spouse. My spouse saw your page, and it's funny. I don't have any tattoos actually, but my spouse has enough for both of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's so passionate about it. And when he saw your page, he's like, "Do you think she could do something distantly for me, especially since we're in Saskatchewan, which is quite far away from Rhode Island?"
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's why I was
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
asking.
I believe it could be done. I haven't done distance for the first part of it yet, but I believe it could be done. Obviously it would just be a little different effect for them, because they're not getting everything. But I do believe that the tattoo could still be channeled that way, probably.
I'll let him know. That's great.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, about the process. So you say it's like broken into 2 days. So it's like the first day that your client comes, is it like you're sitting down with them, you're channeling, you're doing your card pulls and everything, and then do you do Reiki and the sound healing that day, or is it the day of the tattooing?
So I do the first session is you come in, we talk for a little bit, and then I take you into the Reiki room and I'll do Reiki, sound, essential oils. I'll do the whole thing. And then we'll come out from that room, and I have a place where I'll do the oracle cards, and I'll pull from a bunch of different decks. And then before the oracle cards, I'll tell you everything that I felt intuitively from the session, anything that came up, any messages, images, anything like that. And then I'll pull the cards. And then after the cards, we'll discuss a little bit about the tattoo, just about, I love choosing the spot, but I'm not against the person choosing the spot. So we'll talk about tattoo placement. I'll take a picture of the area or see if there's any other tattoos around the area that are going to affect the piece or anything like that. And then that's a couple hours. And then the next day, most people travel, so we'll do it the next day. And if not, if they're more local, we'll skip a day in between. And that way I can meditate on it a little longer and draw the design. And then the tattooing day is just a full day of tattooing. So it's just however long the piece takes.
Okay. Wow. Love that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Do you find too that the Reiki helps with the healing process after?
I do. I definitely do. I believe in how much Reiki can just help our stress levels. Getting a tattoo is very stressful on the body, regardless. You can say that, it doesn't hurt at all, or they hurt, they all hurt, but they stress out the body. So I believe that, it can ease the body's stress response. And there's also a lot of stuff that gets stirred up, I think, almost in a sense, energetically or emotionally. And the Reiki can help that, and just Reiki getting your body into more of a state of harmony is better for healing.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I didn't even really think about that beforehand, but yeah, a lot of people when they do come for Reiki, it is like resetting their nervous system and helping regulate and balance out, open up the chakras and just feel better. So they're already going in ahead than as opposed to someone who hasn't had that or doesn't even know to do that on themselves. So even then, like that's a really good thing. I love how you do that part and then do the tattoo like immediately after. If not the next day, the day after. That's really good.
Yeah, thank you.
And I can almost see, like when you're tattooing that person and you have your hands on and you're in like their auric field, like I can feel there's healing even happening like unconsciously at that moment as well. Cause yeah, Reiki just runs through you sometimes whether you know it or not. And
right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I would be totally into giving someone, Reiki sort of with the tattoo if they want that, if they okay that.
Yeah.
My dog's crying in the background.
Was it? Oh, mine just came up to say hi.
He's all stressed out.
Oh. Yeah, I wanted to touch on when people are when they get a tattoo, I've watched a lot of different tattoo shows, and a lot of people on there, it's like they're moving through something heavy, like maybe grief, and they're getting a memorial tattoo, or they're celebrating an anniversary or a friendship. And with you tattooing you probably have thousands of hours of tattooing, I'm sure that you've seen a lot of healing happening during that tattoo session, and even probably before you even started Reiki. Is there any stories you wanted to share about that healing that happens?
Yeah, I think it's very healing. These days it's sort of half and half, 50% of people just get a tattoo, to get it. And then 50% of people have a meaning for it. It's you're either one or the other, where every tattoo has a meaning, or none of your tattoos have a meaning, but yeah, I mean, I can honestly say that I've seen it all. I've had lots of people cry, tears of joy seeing it after, but cry before or after, or looking at, a memorial tattoo or a portrait of their pet, or just something that means a lot to them. The intuitives have been next level. I mean, some people have come in and just want to have the experience, and they want to see what comes up, and that's great. And I love that. And then other people are coming a lot of the times because they're going through something. Or they just went through something, or they're in sort of a transformation stage in their life, or, they lost someone. And those sessions are just wild. I say to people, we laugh, we cry, we process. There have been most of those people have cried. I got to be honest. Most of the intuitives, it's just such an intimate experience. there's a lot going on, which crying is healing and a great release and cleansing. And, but there's been all the emotions I feel like I've kind of experienced with the intuitives for sure. There's been some pretty crazy things that have happened, which people always want a video of like the whole thing, but that's really hard because these are so personal. So it's like even telling some of the stories, I kind of wish I could tell, but it just seems so personal to the person. But there have been crazy things. I mean, people's past loved ones have come through with messages that were, people have gotten some serious closure on things through these intuitive experiences. People have gotten sometimes exactly what they came in, like literally had someone leave with like, this was literally the answer I was looking for, sort of an answer to this, whatever I'm going through. And this was it. It's been crazy. It's been really, some of them are really profound. I think it depends on where the person is in their life at that time. And some of them are, not as in depth.
Yeah.
It'd be so important to make sure you're picking the right tattoo artist. Just making sure the vibe is the same. Because I know some of them, and I'm sure you know this better than me, can be, I don't know, kind of cold, some of the shops, right? And maybe just not as personable, and maybe you don't feel as comfortable there. And then they're kind of punching in that energy into you a little bit when you get that tattoo. Would you agree with that, or am I looking too into that?
I totally agree with that. There's a woman, I can't remember, on Instagram. She always talks about this, but essentially how sometimes we can look at it as a tattoo being like a portal. And it's just that the person giving it is, I believe, so much, it's exchanging so much energy with the client. I just believe it's a huge energy exchange, even for myself, even afterwards. And obviously, you guys know this doesn't mean like, oh, the person's like a bad person, but somebody could be holding a lot of stuff or it transfers to me. So even after, I got to cleanse myself, and because it's a big energy exchange. So I believe that the person tattooing you, I think it's super important how they vibrate, how their frequency is, because it's definitely an energy exchange. I think that's huge.
Well, and right, like Christy and I, we would pick, or even our Reiki practitioners, based on how their energy is, what they're like, how are they living their life, like with anything, right? I would definitely make sure I would vibe with them and that they're taking care of themselves and that I feel safe and taken care of almost in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even the vibe of the shop, it's very Zen. It's my thing, so the shop is relaxing. I try to make it as relaxing as possible. So I think all of that is important. I work privately, so a lot of shops have a lot of people, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the way I roll. So then you're getting a lot of other noise and music, and you can hear other people's conversations. So I work privately, and it makes it really relaxing.
Yeah, I would appreciate that experience, the private experience, and also like keeping the energy of the shop clear. Like that didn't even cross my mind until you said that, because when people are going through like a high stress situation, like when they're getting a tattoo, I feel like people's energetic imprint can be left in that room. And if you're not clearing that out, the next person comes and lays on that table, they don't have that fresh slate of energy. So that is like, yeah, that is perfect. I really love that.
Yeah, see, you're spot on with that. Exactly. I'm always cleansing the space because, like you said, it's heavy. Sometimes it can be heavy. People carry a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to touch on was, if I follow this one lady on Instagram and she talks about like placements of tattoos meaning different things. So I was wondering, like, with your experience, have you ever noticed the person's going through this and they chose this placement, or do you find it's just more random or intuitive?
Yeah, I find that sometimes, I do find that it's interesting seeing sometimes some of the clients who aren't very grounded, or that's something that they're struggling with, or their root chakra, something around that, where they'll get a leg tattoo a lower leg tattoo where I'm like, where they don't know it, but in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, see, this is like they're trying to ground, or, um, the left side versus the right side. Sometimes when someone's like, really adamant about getting a side, I'm like, okay, thinking about their feminine versus their masculine, or their giving and receiving. So I do take that into consideration. I do like when they let me pick it, but some people have tattoos, you got to work around that. And some people have it set on a particular place, and that is kind of sometimes when I do look into it, like, I wonder why it's this place for them. Like they may not know, but it could be this or that. So I do think that it plays a part for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I never even thought of like, separating the body out in the sections of the chakras. That makes total sense. And I just wanted to add, this is kind of off or random, but is the ribs like the nightmare for the tattoo artist? Is that the worst place that you can tattoo?
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I will not take on rib tattoos for this for intuitive sessions. I just won't. It's a lot. For me, mostly it's taxing on my body, the way that I have to kind of like turn my head and neck, and the way you kind of like are over the body, and it's just not a comfortable position for us. Plus, the person has to be so still, because anytime you have any movement, it's going to move your torso. You know what I mean? It's different than having your right arm out getting tattooed, and you might move your left leg, you know what I mean? But the ribs, it's also very painful. Oh. So if someone is going to commit to sitting for a pretty decent sized tattoo, a lot of people don't finish the ribs in one day. So now I don't do like, 2 sessions for an intuitive. It's like, a 1-day thing. So yeah, the ribs are tough. I don't love tattooing the ribs, but sometimes obviously it's got to be done. But yeah, especially for the intuitive sessions, I won't tattoo the ribs.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair, isn't it? You brought up a really good point about the masculine and the feminine. And I was actually talking to Christy about this before we started. And like, I have a lot of friends who are very masculated, very masculine jobs, like big businesses where it's a lot of male energy. And I was just curious, do you find that doing Reiki and doing the healing work really helps balance the masculine and the feminine for you? I mean, it definitely helps that you're in a shop all by yourself, so you're not really surrounded maybe by a majority of men, if there would be, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the first shop I worked at, I was the only female, and there was like 10 of us, and the rest of them were guys. But I do find that is a thing, balancing the feminine and the masculine in these Reiki sessions. And I think for certain people, it does come up more. It's like it depending on the person. I did have someone recently, a female, talking about how she was like sort of using her masculine side more, like just very hyper independent and logical and action based, you know what I mean? And she was wanting to tap a little bit more into the feminine side, and, placing the tattoo on the feminine side of the body and stuff like that we did work with. So sometimes it comes up more than others, but I think that's a big thing for all of us, is balancing our masculine and our feminine.
And do you find that you're able to do that with yourself, especially with being in such a masculine? Maybe it so masculine anymore?
No, it was very male dominated for, ever. But no, it's becoming a lot less. And I do personally struggle with that in general. Balancing my masculine and my feminine. As of the last few years, I've stepped into my feminine side more. But that was never a thing for me. It almost like made me uncomfortable in a way. And so like I've had to work with that. So I totally get it. And I do very much value both my masculine and feminine sides at this point. And I've worked hard to get there. But yeah, it was tough. I've been tattooing a long time. So when I first started tattooing, it was a very male dominated industry. I mean, this is, quite a while ago. So times have definitely changed with that for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I was showing my husband your tattoos because I was just telling him about the podcast today, and he's like, it's like, man, she's really attracted to the animal kingdom, because I find like in each tattoo there's like an animal. So do you like work with like animal, like the spirit guide part of the animal? So like how does that all tie in, the animal part?
Yeah, the animals are just my thing. It's just my thing. It's always been. I'm such an animal person, but I love to tap into spirit animals. I do a lot of goddess work and animals. So I do love the whole spirit animal and working with goddess energy. And I absolutely love it, especially even when I pull oracle cards. I'll pull from a couple different goddess decks, a couple different animal decks to sort of pull a spirit animal for them.
I love that,
Yeah,
because you can go so deep with that animal energy, and then sometimes
absolutely.
see that energy within them, or like maybe somebody that is shy or something, but then gets a tattoo of a lion, like something like a Leo energy, and then all of a sudden you see that person come out of their shell, or I don't know. I just feel like there's so much power in the animal kingdom there.
Yes,
So
I totally agree. Yes. Even when I've pulled the card, it's interesting how it's been where sometimes people love the lions and the tigers, and I get it. So do I. But it's interesting sometimes when I pulled a card, like this guy that I never thought that he would be interested in like a sea turtle. And I pulled the sea turtle. But when we really talked about the sea turtle and in relation to what he was going through and his life, he loved it. You know what I mean? But it's like
yeah,
the kind of guy that you would want a bull tattooed on him or something. You know what I mean? And I just think, yeah, working with animal energy is amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love it when animals even come in during Reiki sessions. Have you ever heard of that Allison Edwards? She wrote a book on power animals. Is that what it's called, Christy? She's a
Animal
shaman.
power.
Animal power. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good too. And I know just in like
Really?
something like the sea turtle, it's like a way deeper meaning than just a sea turtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why. Once you start really reading into it, some of the things that I start telling these people, they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that." So, it's wild what you can learn about animals and how that energy can pertain to you.
Yeah. And it's like having that tattoo on you and like looking at it, every day, and just like reminding yourself of that energy. I feel like you're almost like putting that energy into you. Like it's
Yeah.
there and it's hanging out with you. Almost, I almost see it like as a spirit guide, like a spirit totem coming in as well. Just kind of neat.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So this new space that you're creating or that is underway, are you going to be doing your sound baths in there as well with the Reiki shop and the tattoo shop? And
Yeah. So I pretty much, yeah, when I say I took a leap of faith, I took a leap of faith. This is uh astronomically more than I ever, envisioned paying and what I was paying. And the goal was that I do rent someone else's space to do my sound baths. So the goal was to do the sound baths, the Reiki, the intuitive tattoos, regular tattooing, all under one roof, as well as building community. I've just stepped into this part of my life where it feels important to build community, and I managed to get people to come to the things that I do. So if I can get people to come to the things that I do, I hope to build more of a community together, and the space is, yep, it's for tattooing. So I just had my first week in there tattooing because it's taken a lot. There's two sides to the building, and the tattooing side took a while to get ready. That's finally ready. And the sound bath area is ready. So I am going to schedule my first sound bath soon. But the other side is going to be a wellness spa, is essentially what I'm calling it. And I'm just started to build today, and it's going to be like infrared sauna, cold plunge, red light therapy, Himalayan salt room, and a meditation room. And I'm just really hoping to create a really beautiful, relaxing, safe, healing space for people in the community.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love everything about that.
Yeah.
ah, I really wish we lived closer. I'd be hitting that
Yeah.
up for sure. Same with
Yeah.
my
Right.
spouse. Yeah. We'd both be there for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of like the whole mind, body, and soul. That's why the body work as well. You know, it's important to have it all. So that's why I wanted to have the space to even do like the body work, you know, the sauna and the cold plunge and stuff like that.
Beautiful. Hmm.
And yeah, I wanted to touch on like the sound healing part of your session. So how do you incorporate that into everything? Like what does sound healing mean to you?
Sound healing just resonates with me so much. It's really one of it, second to tattooing. It's like my favorite thing to do. I just absolutely love it. I won't do like a full sound healing in that type of session. But I will use a lot actually. I'll use like, you know, the rain sticks and drums and tuning forks and the pyramid, all kinds of stuff, but it won't be like the big gong and all the bowls, you know, it'll be like whatever I can kind of bring over your head and put it by your ears, and it's like immersive, like something I can really make you feel like when you're on the Reiki table, it's kind of all around you. And the sound, yeah, the sound baths I hold once a month. I'm hoping to hold more now that I have my own space. And those have been great. I've been getting a lot of people to sign up for those, and people seem to love it. I get amazing reactions from people. It's, you know, you get everything. A lot of people cry, lots of people cry, a lot of people say that they feel like a really big release. People say they feel lighter after, they sleep better. Even in, if some people are just, it's just relaxing for them. We all need that. I mean, we're all stressed, you know, it's just so good for the body and balancing the energy, and people have really seemed to love it, and I love it. I love doing it. So I plan to do a lot more of those as well in the space.
Yeah, and that's so cool that you have like you're gonna have your own space to host those. And yeah, Amanda and I have done lots of sound baths together, and yeah, I've laughed, I've cried, fell asleep, gone on a
Yeah.
journey. I've done like all of it, and it's just so cool. I just love it.
Yeah, and the goal with the space too is to collaborate. So I'm haven't put it all out there yet. I'm making a video of the new space as we speak, to kind of finally put it out there. But I want to find other practitioners and collaborate with them. Like I do sound while they walk around and do Reiki, or I'm going to collaborate with a girl doing a breath work in sound class. I'd love to do a cacao ceremony if I could find someone who wants to come and do that, or even people who want to use the space to do their own events there, but like-minded people, you know, any kind of energy work, is really what, you know, there's enough space for, like, I've even thought of like a weekend yoga class, if I could get a yoga instructor to
Yeah.
want to host something there.
Yeah, we have a really good following in the States, actually. So for anyone
Yeah.
listening who's close to Rhode Island, they
Yes.
should
Yeah.
definitely come and look you up. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was thinking about the questions to ask you, and this question came to mind, and I was like, well, it's just too simple to ask. But then I asked myself, because like I grew up in a family of artists, and it's just art has always been a part of my life, and in so many different ways, and it means so much to me in a way to express how I feel and tap into my intuitive abilities, and get rid of stress. Like art is like so many things, and art just isn't drawing. Art can be like dance or anything like that. But anyways, I wanted to ask you, like, what does art mean to you?
That's such a good question. I believe art is love. Art is creating. Art is creation. I believe that art is my language in a way. Like I feel like it's how I can relate to others and the world and myself through art, sometimes more than words. Even like I was even a little nervous to do this. I'm not the best speaker, but when it comes to art, it flows. And I believe that art has saved me. It's been there for me through every chapter of my life, through the hardest things I've ever been through. And I always say that a lot of times I say tattooing saved me, but I guess what I would mean is art, because I wouldn't be the person that I am. I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for starting tattooing. And so I believe art is pretty much my whole life. It really, really is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful answer. I love that. Thank you.
I felt like such an emotional response to when you were talking about that. Like I could feel, whoa, the love and like the passion coming out of you when you were talking about that. Like, whoa, that really hit me. And it didn't even come off as emotional, but like
it's hitting me. It was hitting me when I was saying it. So I love that you felt that from me. Yeah, it's just crazy, like thinking about the things I've been through. And it's I always say that it's wild when I go to tattoo. I could be going through the worst thing and having the worst day. And when I go to tattoo, I just get in there. I just get into the zone. I get into like almost like a meditative place. And I feel like I don't know what I would do without it, to be honest.
Yeah, you're in the flow. Like I know like when my mom's doing art, like she's a very tense person, but when she does art, like her whole body just relaxes and then time stops. It's like, where am I? What time is it? What's going on? And that is the best feeling, because then your nervous system is in that place where it should be. And then that's when true healing can happen. It's just, yeah. Oh, love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And even just talking about that masculine and feminine we were talking about earlier, it almost seems like the art really actually is almost harnessing that beautiful creative feminine just was flowing out, just like a beautiful flow of energy. Just it's wonderful. I wish everybody had some outlet or some passion like that. I feel like some people don't feel like they do, and it's like they just have to find it, because I think we all have something like that in us.
Oh yeah, I believe that for sure. I feel blessed that I found it.
Well, that was the best way to end. I have to say, I feel like that was the perfect ending.
Yes. So where can people find you if they want to get in contact with you or check out your Instagram?
Yeah, I think Instagram is one of the best ways. I do have the Iron Lion Tattoo Instagram is where people would want to DM. I do have an assistant who handles all of my booking. So the Iron Lion Tattoo Instagram, I do have my own Iron Lion Tarot Dags. It's pretty much still it's just all tattooing, but I do a little more about sound healing and Reiki and stuff like that on there. Iron Lion Tarot Dags. And booking at ironliontattoo.com is the other way to contact us if you want to schedule something, even if it's just Reiki or inquiring about sound healing or a sound bath. I am offering private sound healing and Reiki now. I didn't really have the space to do it the way I wanted and really set up the mats and the blankets and everything in front of all the sound instruments. So I will also be offering private sound healings. I'm doing like individuals, couples, small groups, still doing my larger sound baths and Reiki as well, as if anybody wants that.
Okay. Awesome.
It's beautiful. But yeah, thank you so much. I enjoyed this so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great to meet you too. Like, I've watched your Instagram and everything going on, but to actually sit here and you take the time out of your busy day to chat with us. I really appreciate that and what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So for our OG listeners, you know how we end each episode with a card pull, of course. And today Amanda is doing the honors.
Yes. Okay. So I have two options for you today. The first option is scolasite. Okay. That's the crystal. And the second one is my really fun pyramid thing I have. It's like has copper in it. It's really good for grounding. Okay, so everyone pick a pile, and then I'm going to start with scolasite. So I pulled one oracle card and then a couple tarot cards to back it up. So the first card is Imagine. So in this card here, there is a woman kind of has like the moon as a balloon. And then the tarot cards that I got with it were the Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. So all Pentacles. So Pentacles usually means finances and career and things like that. So people who are right now trying to grow a business, this is definitely in regards to finances, grow their financials right now. And you're trying to get something off the ground, but I know the grind you're going through right now. And I know how tiring it is. And I know the lack of balance that you have in your life right now. Because the Six of Pentacles is actually in the reverse. So that means that there's not a lot of balance going on, or the balance could be better. And same with the Two of Pentacles, balancing out energies. So I know at the beginning you're in a season. And it can sometimes be hard, especially when we kind of focus on that overwhelm or that stress that comes in. And we need to just think about or hold the vision of like, hey, where are you going? Where do you see yourself in 1 year from now when you put in this work? What could happen? And just think really big and think really positive. And, I know people really stress, well, you need to have balance. Well, you know what? If you're growing a business, I'm sorry, you're not going to have balance. And that has to be okay. There'll be time for balance later on. And you just need to do the pushing where you can right now. And trust me, Christy and I know this, and we are doing it so you're not alone and we see you. So just keep that in mind. But dream really big and think about the positive things that are coming in by all the work you're putting out, because you are getting there. And these new ideas, even if you're trying to think of a new idea, it's coming because you got that Ace of Pentacles. So a brand new something is going to start sprouting in the seed form. So hang in there. And then my next one for the pyramid, for the Oracle card, I got Yin, beautiful Yin energy. And then my tarot, I got King of Swords, Ace of Cups, Three of Wands, and Eight of Cups in the reverse. So this one is all about those. Feels like it's directed to the female audience, or at least a female energy. So this is about trying to attract in a relationship. So I got that King of Swords and the Ace of Cups came out right away. So new relationship coming in, really trying to manifest a new relationship. Feels like maybe you wrote out the list of everything that you want in a partner. And now you're just like, okay, I've been doing all the things. I've been loving myself and attracting all that beautiful energy into me now. And now we're just in the waiting period. This Eight of Cups, though, in the reverse, it seems like you need to walk away from something that could be kind of what I'm seeing is like a hook, kind of being hooking you in from fully moving forward. So this could be a past relationship that you haven't let go yet. Maybe you do want new love, but there's something holding you back that's not like letting you fully release that out so you can accept the new stuff coming in. But I do see like the King of Swords. So that's a very masculine, very smart, very logical person. So I do see that coming in with the Ace of Cups. So this could be a really good time. But in the meantime, really hone your own energy, whether that is the divine feminine or the divine masculine. Like really lean into it because there's so much strength in there when we do. I'm just seeing a lot of like sensual, be romantic with yourself kind of energy. Like I really like it. It feels very sensual. And I'm all about that. If you ever come for a divine feminine session with me, I think it's really important to love yourself and love your body and all of those things. So yeah, relationship could be headed your way. Hot summer, here we come.
I love that. I met Troy in June, and it's just a great time to meet someone because like all those first dates, and there's so many things going on in the city and things you can do outside and go to the lake. And yeah, it was a really great summer. So what a great time to invite a new relationship in.
Yeah. Yes. Do you want to share when you picked?
I picked the first one.
I figured.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I was like, are you talking to me right now? Is this the message for me?
I know. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I know.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, hopefully that resonates.
Yes.
With someone out there.
Oh, I think so too.
Pile you picked. Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun. And, thanks everybody for joining us. And if you like this episode, we would love if you could leave us a 5-star review or sorry, a 5-star rating or leave us a review. We would really, really appreciate that. And of course, you can follow us on our Instagram at Living the Reiki Life. And I also have my personal page at The Birch Soul. So that's where you can ask me questions or check out my offerings, Akashic Record readings or Reiki.
Yeah, and mine is Reiki with Manda. And same thing, we're both offering Reiki and other readings as well. So come by, check us out, reach out, especially if you're wanting to learn Reiki. I'm going to be scheduling some dates specific for July. So if that is something that you're interested in or just want to take your learning a little bit further, let me know and I'd be glad to connect.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, you guys have a good week.
Yeah, take care.
1, 2,